Hey everyone, welcome to the Blonde Blitz. I'm your host. God, week 7 is in the books, everybody. And let's bring on week 8. We have got a great show for you today. My special guests are the president and vice president of Off the Field NFL Wives, Tanisha Patterson Brown Esquire, and Dr. Hagar Elegandi. They will tell us all about what it's like being an NFL wife, all about the nonprofit and events that they have coming up this season. It is also October, and this means it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I wanted to dedicate this show today to Ramonda Jordan. She is the wife of Randy Jordan, Titans running back coach. She's one of the founding members of Off the Field NFL Wives. She is a breast cancer survivor, but is now unfortunately fighting again. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Ramonda and spending time with her at Super Bowl. She's a lovely woman. She's so special. And Ramonda, keep fighting, and we love you here at the Blonde Blitz. All right, guys, as far as the show, Brian Snow from Snowman in the Morning is here to help me out with week 7 hot takes. We also have Laura Barnes. She is an executive coach who works with the ecosystem of the NFL athletes, the wives, and the families. We will hear all about how she helps her clients. Brian Scott, host of the Injured List podcast, is here to talk league injuries. God knows there's a lot of them, right? Sports betting expert Alex White, unfortunately, is ill. She has the evening off. She'll be back next week, but fantasy expert Ballers Meg will be here to give her fantasy picks for week number 8. Intuitive Reader 333 Ask Carrie looks at her power deck for the Cowboys versus Broncos game. And finally, Ben Troupe, former tight end for the Bucs and the Titans, he's here to help me with week 8 game picks. We've got a packed full show. Let's get it started with headlines. I'm doing it live today.
Now to Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
Week 7 had everything. Record-setting performances, statement wins, and defenses making their mark. 10 games were decided by one score, and 4 teams rallied from second-half deficits to win. The 49ers and the Bengals reminded everyone why they're contenders, while Green Bay and New England flashed defensive dominance. In San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey once again put the entire offense on his back, racking up 201 scrimmage yards, 129 rushing, 72 receiving, and 2 touchdowns in a 20-10 Sunday night win over Atlanta. We'll talk more later in the show about that. It was CMC's 12th straight game with 100+ scrimmage yards, continuing one of the longest streaks in modern NFL history. Cincinnati's Jamar Chase torched Pittsburgh's secondary with 16 receptions for 161 yards and a touchdown, setting a new franchise record for catches in a game and tying the NFL mark for most games with 15+ receptions and 150+ yards. On defense, Micah Parsons powered Green Bay past Arizona with 3 sacks and 4 tackles for a loss, while Kavon Chason fueled the Patriots' 31-13 win with 2 sacks and a scoop and score. Elsewhere, Grant Delpit and Sam Martin stood out on special teams, giving Cleveland and Carolina key field positions in their victories. No shock that all of these names I just mentioned were named AFC and NFC Players of the Week. All right, guys, that's your headlines for week number 7 of this 2025 NFL season.
Now to Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
All right, guys, next we have my good friend and the host of Snowman in the Morning, Brian Snow, here to help me with week 7 hot takes.
Next caller is Deb Whitcas, who says she has some really hot takes.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Deb?
Good, hanging in. And everyone, just so everyone know, Brian is also doing tech for today's show. So thank you so much. Our tech producer Jason wasn't able to make it in today, but Brian is here, and we are so thankful. So what a bit of a wild week 7. I know you want to talk all about San Francisco, but I want to talk a little bit more about some of the other games before we jump to that one. What about the Steelers and Bengals game? It was a great back and forth game. Joe Flacco is back. He threw for 342 yards, only his second game with the Bengals. How far do you think they can go with Joe Flacco?
Let's see. Let's rewind a couple of years. Remember what he did with Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cleveland stupidly lets him walk to Cincinnati, and then Cincinnati decides to punch Mike Tomlin in the mouth by hanging 482 yards of offense on him.
Mm-hmm.
That answer your question?
Yes.
It's old man Flacco.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, if they can get in the playoffs, Joe Burrow might be back, and then you might just want to keep Flacco in there, to be honest.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, who knows? Who else? Pat Freiermuth had a great game. That 68-yard touchdown was a key moment for the Steelers. They obviously didn't win. Bengals took it. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that game too, and his performance. He had 2 touchdowns. What do you think of his performance this season?
Moose can move.
Yeah.
Kind of like another Moose back in the 90s. Of course, one of my favorite fullbacks, Darryl Moose Johnston. I didn't know how fast Freiermuth could move until Aaron Rodgers decided to throw him a dot, and 68 yards later, Pittsburgh has their first lead of the night.
Right.
Man, this is
what? What just happened?
You know what? My wife was headed to bed. I was watching the game here, and all of a sudden, I was working on another project, and all of a sudden, I hear my wife says, "Oh, by the way, Pittsburgh took the lead." Yeah. What? I'm looking over here, and Freiermuth is rolling toward the end zone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was a great game. Another game, Broncos versus Giants. I feel like NFL history was made in this game. The Broncos came from behind, and they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. Just wild. All right, Brian. So there's been different speculations here. Giants kicker missed 2, or was it the defense that lost this game?
How about option C? All of the above.
Right. Very true. I agree.
How do you blow a 19-point lead in less than 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And on top of that, you allow the Broncos to walk off.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazier than the Steelers-Bengals game. That also featured a walk-off.
Exactly. You were like, I was shocked with that one. And then it was the Broncos and Giants were like, hold my beer.
No, the Broncos said, hold my beer. And 33 points later, they're walking off.
Yeah.
They were like, what? And this is after Jackson Dart walked them down the field. I'll say it again. And I said it on my show. Jackson Dart walked them down the field in 95 seconds, got the lead, only 30 seconds left, but then the extra point happened.
Yeah. I very rarely get off my couch screaming for another team other than the Eagles. And I was off my couch screaming. And the look on Jackson Dart's face was just like, someone should put that in a picture somewhere. Like the look of pure defeat on his face. And I like Jackson Dart. We all know this. I like what he's doing for the Giants. But yeah, that game, woo! Yeah, the defense definitely, someone needed to get fired.
Yeah, someone needs to walk back to New Jersey after that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Dolphins-Browns game. Tua Tagovailoa benched for Quinn Ewers after throwing 3 interceptions. We have heard that Tua will start in week 8, but should he?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
You were going to say that. I know you so well.
Why? I mean, when your first pass of the second half winds up in the opponent's hands,
just give up.
Surrender your playbook, please.
Yeah. The Dolphins just not clicking this season. I don't know if Tua's too many concussions. He might have needed to retire after the last one. I like Tua too. I've liked his performance in the past, but it's just nothing is working this season. I think
Tua hasn't been great since Alabama.
That's true.
When he
I don't agree with you on that one. But that's I actually when you said that, I actually the day that happened, I was actually with his agent at a convention, and the agent actually gave Chris Cabot, and I listened to all of the phone calls because he gave me a ride home. Like I literally listened to the phone calls just rolling in all about Tua. It was like the most insane experience of my life, to be honest. But yeah, it was a bad day.
It's and a lot of people think, oh, you just don't like Tua. No, Tua is a fabulous athlete. He just hasn't been the same since he broke his hip. Look at his throws. Look at his steps. Look at the way he steps into it. And Tua's a lefty. Tua's a lefty. Big problem. Then, of course, 3 concussions in 14 weeks. The last one against Cincinnati 3 years ago. That should have been it. But he's still allowed to play.
Yep.
That's the problem.
He's not going to give up. That's the thing. Like there was absolutely no way, but he should start thinking about it. I think personally, I think Quinn should play, and it might put a spark back into the Dolphins. All right, let's move on. We got 5 more minutes. Let's move on to the game you want to talk about. All right, I have to admit, 49ers Falcons. Brian, I owe you an apology. I picked the Falcons. I said they were going to win this game. They did not. I did not think CMC could carry the entire offense and the entire team on his shoulders.
Really?
I will say it.
Really?
Obviously he did.
I sound like my wife. Really?
I mean, how many times am I like, I love this person. I love this player.
Right.
CMC is amazing. He's not even human, but I just didn't. I thought, it was him against the entire Falcons team, and let's admit it. There's a lot of talent on that Falcons team, right?
Oh,
They click. Bijan Robinson looks like a guy straight out of a video game, right? But I was wrong. I'll admit it. Moving forward, what are you hoping for San Fran?
As long as they keep winning, whatever they get from here on out is gravy. And how about a little love for Mac Jones?
Yeah, Mac is doing. I mean, he didn't do well with the Patriots, but he's absolutely shining with San Francisco. I like him just as much as Brock Purdy, to be honest.
Yeah, that it's the perfect 2 quarterback system. Now we don't know how long Purdy is going to be out, and he's going to be out. I fear a lot longer than people anticipate. And it's a turf toe that he's dealing with. And if you want to know about turf toe, there's a podcast featuring one Jason Kelsey, who dealt with turf toe several times. So I took a listen to that, and I have a fear we won't see Purdy until like deep into the second half of the year. But as long as a beat up Mac Jones, who torched a couple teams for 300 yards, including the Rams, while dealing with an oblique injury, and as long as there's Christian McCaffrey, and as long as there's Mac Jones, and as long as there's playmakers on defense, they'll get some reinforcements back, including one George Kittle, who returned this past Sunday and blocked his tail off.
Yeah. He didn't get as many targets as I thought he was going to get, but he still definitely worked it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You just have to give kudos to San Francisco right now, who in essence have a 3-game lead in the division because they beat everybody else in the division so far. Right.
And we even talked about, we knew it was going to probably come down to 49ers and Rams here in the end. But let me go a little bit to the Rams here. Matthew Stafford is now in MVP talks. I thought he should have been there from the. You think so? He's passed for 1,866 yards and 7 touchdowns so far this season.
I'll repeat my question. Why?
It's Matthew. He's one of the top of the league right now. Are you kidding me right
now? Okay, let me weigh this. Old man Flacco, old man Stafford, they're even, and plus the Rams have a better record. So I'll give you that. But pump the brakes on the MVP conversation.
Okay.
We see the Rams in week 10 then I'll make my judgment. Is that fair?
That's fair. That
Is
is
that fair?
fair. I'm going to keep
Now,
that.
now watch what happens. Now watch what happens. I say that, and Matthew's going to go on a streak of 300-yard games until he comes to see us in Santa Clara. No, let me stop kidding. Matthew Stafford is right there. Yep. Okay, Matthew Stafford carries this Rams team as far as he can, and you know, even without Nakua, they're on a bye week this week. Good for them. They get to rest, and then they get to come home. But I'll tell you what, man, Matthew Stafford's still doing it, and he's doing it more in Los Angeles than he did in Detroit. Remember, he gave Detroit 12 seasons.
And he also has his back. You know, like everybody was so worried about his back. Garoppolo took over for majority of training camp, and but he hasn't shown an inch of a back injury. You know, like by his play. No, and the only reason why I brought this up was because Baker Mayfield, again, great quarterback, has been in MVP talks. So I was like, if Baker Mayfield is in MVP talks, Matthew Stafford should definitely be in MVP.
Baker Mayfield lost to Seattle.
Well,
at 10 in the evening.
He legit shit. Like he played horrible the last game. Like that's why I was like, what just happened? Where's my Mayfield?
As much as I pick on teams and he lost to Seattle when the game started at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
No one was supposed to see that result. Okay.
Although we picked it. We did.
We did.
I like Sam Darnold too. But I was like, "Ooh, Darnold against Mayfield." I just couldn't believe how much he shit the bed. Anyway, finally in our hot takes today, Brandon Graham, TE the Eagles is back. So excited.
Which means of course, Deb's excited because first of all, I get to play this.
Right.
Down 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Which is a good thing because now they finally can maybe plug a few holes in that defense, considering the fact that defense has taken a beating.
Right. And also, too, in the locker room, I think Brennan's going to be a huge presence in that locker room. I think this is the right move. It will be his 16th season. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because my family reached out to me and they're like, what do you think? Do you have any inside scoop? And I'm like, no inside scoop, really. Even though I do know his family, I could have called, but I don't like to do that. But I was like, I feel like he's going to sign it. I like everything. And I'm so excited to see him back and see how he gels this. The defense and just the team in general. I think this is what the Eagles need right now. So
it's going to be huge for them. It's going to be huge.
Yep. All right, Brian, thank you so much for joining Hot Takes. We will see you soon. And we'll see as you push some buttons. Thank you so much.
Hopefully I get the right buttons pushed. Thank you, Deb. Appreciate you.
Next caller is Deb Whitcas, who says she has some really hot takes.
All right, guys, I'm so excited to have my special guest this week. They are the president and the vice president of Off the Field NFL Wives, Tanisha Patterson Brown Esquire and Dr. Hagar Alagandi. They are here to tell us all about being an NFL wife, all about the nonprofit, and the events that they all have coming up this season. Ladies, let's go.
I'm still waiting for my invite as a special guest on the Blonde Blitz. My agent is waiting for your call, Deb.
Hi, Tanisha. Thank you so much for coming on the Blonde Blitz this evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to have you guys on. Had you on last year, did some work with you guys at Super Bowl. So I'm excited to hear what you have coming up this season. First of all, though, just for our audience who isn't familiar with Off the Field, Who are you guys, and explain the community of women.
So we are, well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. We are so excited to be here and just really sharing all the things off the field. And I am president of Off the Field NFL Wives Association, which is the official NFL Wives Association for current and former player wives and significant others.
Mhm.
We have been around since 2006 officially, but unofficially since for almost 25 years. We'll be celebrating our 25th annual charity fashion show in San Francisco on February 6, 2026. And we're very excited about that, and amongst all the other things that we have going on in our community programming.
Awesome. Talk to me a little bit about the sisterhood that is OTF.
Well, off the field, we operate on 3 pillars. It's sisterhood, service, and support.
Mhm.
And the number one thing is sisterhood. How do we bond together? How do we support one another? How do we make sure that we as a community can be there for one another through every single transition? So whether you're coming in the league as rookies or being traded or being cut or, getting that next big deal, or as you're transitioning out of retirement and then moving on into that second career period, we are here to support the community of women throughout those transitions, and also the NFL families. Because a lot of times you see the units where you're supporting the players and then you're supporting the wives, but there's no community where you're actually supporting the entire NFL family.
Right. And what was it like when you first came into OTF?
Honestly, I will tell you the story. My first kind of opening into off the field was during my baby journey.
Okay.
And I had 2 off the field members at the time who did not know each other, were totally isolated situations, offered to be my surrogate. And that was such a selfless thing, and honestly opened my eyes to the NFL wives community. They figured it out. They had worked it out, talked to their husbands about it. And then I ended up getting pregnant naturally, which was nothing short of a miracle. But it was just the blessing of having them even offer that and just be so sincere and considerate. And that was something coming directly from my NFL sisters. So for me, it was just kind of like an extra push for me to go out and make sure that I get more involved and spread that love to other women within our community.
And talk a little bit about the community and what is available to everyone who's a member.
So as a member off the field, obviously you have access to all of our corporate partnership relationships, which we cultivate to make sure that we're pouring into our community. So whether it's things that are based on financial education, financial literacy, if you have children who are in college, we offer scholarships as well. We also offer NIL education. We provide emergency financial assistance for our members who may be going through some things financially, whether you are going through a divorce or you're a widow, or if you are just having some financial struggles, we are here to offer that grant assistance as well. But we have discounts. We have partners like Lululemon who are just so great to us and take care of us and take care of our members. Excuse me. And we want to provide just unlimited resources, as many as we possibly can, to our members and vet people. That's important. We want to make sure that as a community, we don't allow someone to come in and take advantage of us. So we also have like that vetting process, very similar to the NFLPA, very similar to the trust. And our goal is to be the premier resource for all of the current and former player wives and significant others.
And how many members do you guys have right now?
So we have about 600 members right now.
Okay. That's amazing. And it's all across the US?
Yes. So we have 30 chapters in all 30 NFL cities. LA and New York share. So the Jets and Giants share, and then the Rams, they share, and the Chargers. And so for us, we want to support each community. So we have our captains on the boots on the ground supporting our members. And then we also have our national events. Obviously, we're in our national partnerships with the American Heart Association and USA Swim Foundation as well.
Absolutely. And I actually was at a Super Bowl event with the Heart Association, and Dr. Hagar, who is, I believe, is the head of the community events. She was there, and that event was so special to see the kids learning how to swim and to learning CPR, and it was just such an amazing event. Tell me a little bit about the events that OTF does, provide throughout the year.
Okay. Hagar's actually she's trying to join.
Oh,
She said
she's
in the
getting
waiting
on.
room.
Okay, fabulous.
Yes.
Hey, Hagar, how are you?
No, I'm so sorry. I'm
Oh
holding
no, you're fine. And I love that you wore pink.
I know. Now I need to go get my pink jacket. Like, what's happening here?
Go get it. Go get it.
And I'm back.
Yay, we're all in pink. We're all in the Blonde Blitz and the Off the Field Wives pink. I love it.
Listen, keep that in though. That's our BTR, like our bloopers. Like,
Totally. Oh no, that's definitely staying in. Hagar, thank you so much for joining. We were actually just speaking about the event at Super Bowl, all the kids swimming and the CPR learning, and I was just saying to Tanisha how special it was. Can you talk a little bit about that event and what we can see this season?
Yes, Deb, we loved having you out there. So that was one of our staple events. And it is such an exciting thing to be a part of something that's not just a one and done, but it's something that's going to be sustaining and moving forward. So we are super excited. We're planning to be with Philadelphia Eagles here over the course of November. And then we are planning a lot of fun and exciting things for Super Bowl 2026. So we can't wait to share more about that with you.
Amazing. Okay, first of all, we have to talk Eagles. You guys know I'm an Eagles fan. It is right here. What are you guys working with the Eagles?
Yeah, so we just came out. So this past week we had a Girls in Flag event where we were partnered with the Philadelphia Eagles and the American Heart Association. We hosted 150 girls from the local communities in Philly, and they came out and they were swagged out with Lulu swag, sports bras that were fitted by the Project Heartwarm. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Tanisha?
Operation Warm.
Operation Warm. Thank you.
Fly
Operation
forward.
Warm. Thank you. And one of our own, Candace Price, who's an off the field member, and she also led those clinics. So we received messages galore after that event, and just how much of something that was so encouraging to the girls being present and there. So that's what you look for. That's the work that you do. Your aim is to make some sort of impact in the lives, that you touch in some capacity. So it's awesome to see that that come to fruition.
Amazing. I wish I was there. I actually cover girls flag football for Sports Illustrated. So I wish next time call me.
Yes, we'll call you. Super Bowl 2026.
There we go. Well, let's talk about Super Bowl 2026. What can we expect?
Yes, Tanisha,
All the things.
Everything.
All of the things. We are booked and busy during Super Bowl. And so one of the things that we're going to do, we're hitting all of our pillars. We're hitting that sisterhood. We're hitting that support. We're hitting that service. Hagar has been amazing in all of our planning right now for the community piece, but we, of course, will have our fashion show. So I'll do a rundown on Thursday to Sunday of what we're going to be doing. So Thursday, we will kick it off with our water safety initiative on Thursday morning. We're going to have 150 to 200 kids teaching them the fundamentals of swimming, which is how this thing all started, honestly. And then we're going to have our awards dinner on Thursday night. Friday is our fashion show, which is our 25th annual fashion show, which we are so excited about. We will be dropping the tickets for those very, very soon, and we are still looking for corporate partners. So if you know anybody that's interested in partnering with us, please send them our way. Then we will be celebrating Friday Night Lights. So this is going to be something amazing with our Girls in Flag. We're so excited. We will be in Oakland at Laney College in partnership with the HBCU Experience and the Divine Nine. We're very excited about that because it's just our first little event where we're having a night event with the girls. So that's going to be great. Saturday morning, we're doing a youth basketball initiative, which is going to have us super booked and busy. And then, of course, Sunday is Super Bowl. So we have to make sure we're going to sit down and watch the show and take a breather after all of the things that we're doing. Oh, and one more thing. We're partnering with MLB Wives Association to adopt a softball team as well.
Okay. I think it's funny you just said about with Super Bowl, by the time the Super Bowl comes, everybody's exhausted and you actually need a break. And everyone's like, are you going to the game? Which is like, of course you go to the game, but you're like, I'm so tired. I hope I don't fall asleep. And of course you never do because the game is so exciting, but it's just all the events leading up to it. Do you guys have anything before Super Bowl that you wanted to talk about to promote?
Oh yeah. I'll let Hagar talk about our Philly event.
Yeah. So we have our water safety event coming up for the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're super excited because the Pride movie, it's actually based out of Philly, and the coach that movie is based out of will be coaching our water safety clinic. So we're planning to host 150 to 200 kids again from the Philly community. And we're super excited. So these events are always in association with the American Heart Association, who does an awesome job just teaching the fundamentals of CPR. So to see the kids getting active, learning CPR and compression, and just being exposed to it, at a very young and early age, but then coupling that with just the critical value of water safety. And it's just our part in trying to improve not only access to water, but also just the safety of what it means, that once you're in the water, you feel calm, collected, and confident that you feel like you can do whatever you want to achieve in that water, and it's not something that's so scary that it can be sometimes to some of our kids. So we're super excited and looking forward to that.
That's fabulous. And also, just as far as the 25th anniversary for the charity, the fashion show, what can we expect from there? I was there 2 years ago, had an absolute blast, interviewed on the red carpet, and then covered, the actual fashion show. What brands, do we know who's going to host yet? Or, what should people expect?
Well, we're not going to give any spoilers quite yet.
Okay, you're right. We're still like 4 months away from Super Bowl.
Just know we're some busy bees right now, planning and actively getting it together. We will be hosting it at Coco Republic in San Francisco. It's because just think about 3 floors of just entertainment, surprises, exciting things. It's our 25th, so we have to go big or go home. That's where we are.
Absolutely. I know you ladies always go big or go home, and I absolutely love it. I love being around that energy. Is this just for OTF members, or can the general public buy tickets as well or attend these events?
Absolutely. So our event is a public event. It is our fundraiser. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. Just keep in mind, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our main purpose is charitable giving and service. And so even though we have our sisterhood, yes, we do, but our biggest thing, which K-Guard knows how it's near and dear to our heart, is service. And we want to make sure that we give back. So we make sure that we choose a benefactor in every Super Bowl city, and then we pour right back into the community. So whatever we raise, all the proceeds go directly into the community, and also to fund our Road to LA 2028 initiatives.
Yeah, because it's San Francisco and then it's LA. So
yeah.
LA is going to be a good time too. Awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to share about off the field, or anything that I missed?
Hey guys, did anything that
just a few things. I think this is probably the first organization that I've been a part of where every dollar counts. Every single penny that is, and that it just like Tanisha just said, it's directed right back into the community. So whether little or big, it's just so enriching to feel like this is where this is where my funds are going. I'm seeing lives being impacted by this. It's just such like a direct correlation that is just awesome to witness. And I'm so looking forward to Super Bowl because that's my time to get a chance to see my sisters. It is off the field is like our home base. We go about our year and do these crazy things at home and motherhood and work and all those things. And then we come back together and we just catch up. And someone that's sitting on my heart is Ramonda Jordan. I am so looking forward to seeing her for the Super Bowl time. She's one of our sisters that's battling breast cancer at the time. And this is our chance to lift her up. And I just can't wait to see her. So this time, Super Bowl time, is a time for us to connect as a sisterhood, to encourage each other for the year, because we know that it gets chaotic and in that year as we leave each other after the Super Bowl. And I'm just so looking forward to it.
Yeah, and
I second that.
And I third that. I'm definitely sending prayers her way as well. She's fantastic, and I know she was one of the founding members, correct?
Yes, and she is our glamour queen. She is just so much. So we can't even. She is the epitome of what off the field is, what we stand for, the resilience, her fight. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we must acknowledge her, and then just how she just keeps showing up and just keeps pushing us forward and loving on us and pouring into us. And that's what it's about. It's about that mentorship, about the sisterhood, and just standing up for one another consistently throughout every season. So this message, this our moments here in Hagar and I together, this is in honor of Ramada and her resilience. And we love her so much. And we are just so grateful to our founders, because without them, we would not be here. And so the 25th, right, to me, this is just about like acknowledging so much work and effort that they have put forth into this organization, poured into their families, their husbands, like sleepless nights, pouring into something just to make the community better. And so for me and for Hagar and I, we are so honored to serve as president and vice president at this time. We are lucky and blessed to be president, vice president, as we are serving in this 25th year. So I'm happy. I can't wait to see those 10,000 children that we impact by the time we hit LA 2028. I can't wait to see. I want the founders to look back on this and say, we did job well done, sisters, job well done.
Yeah, we did that together.
As I'm sure you will, Ramada, we're thinking of you. And ladies, let's have some fun at Super Bowl. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. In addition to the NFL wives, I also have Laura Barnes on the show tonight. She's an executive coach for the NFL ecosystem. And what I mean by that is her clients are wives or family members of the NFL athletes. I'll let her tell you more.
I'm still waiting for my invite as a special guest on the Blonde Blitz. My agent is waiting for your call, Deb.
Hey, Laura, thank you so much for coming on the Blonde Blitz. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Deb. Thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you. So let's start off. Explain to me what an executive coach is, or what an executive coach does.
Absolutely. So a lot of people hear executive coach and they think either I have to be a C-suite executive or, oh, you're just a life coach. And I jokingly tell people, if you don't know how to life, I probably can't work with you. So it's not really just life coaching. Really, executive coaching is, I call myself a professional question asker. So my role is to come alongside my clients and help them navigate getting from where they're at now to where they want to go next. So whether it's a career move, personal stuff, relationships, it's really about getting clear on what you want. And then the executive coach comes alongside, helps you navigate the challenges that arise, helps you overcome some of the mindset hurdles that might come up. So really my job is to be the question asker, the confidant, the advisor. Sometimes I consult, but really it's about trusting that you have all the answers within you. People just haven't been asking the right questions to unlock those answers.
And why did you decide to work with athletes and those closest to athletes? You work in the whole athlete, like the ecosystem, right?
Yeah. So my background is in athlete development. I did my master's at University of Florida, specialized in athlete development. And honestly, at that time, I was like dead set that I was going to work in the NFL. I wanted to work in player engagement, wanted to be supporting athletes. And when I decided, during that thing called COVID, where life took a lot of twists and turns for all of us, I actually ended up pursuing an executive coaching program, executive coaching certificate, decided that I wanted to go more into the coaching space. And in that process, I took sort of a 10,000 foot view of the world of athletes and realized that so many resources are funneled to professional athletes, especially. Everyone wants to get their product or their service or their level of support directly to the athlete, which is great. But the challenge and the gap that I noticed is that there wasn't really anybody coming up to say, hey, what about the families? What about the other people who are also shouldering the burden?
Yes.
Yeah. They're the emotional sponge in some cases. They're the ones who are also navigating relocations and, overcoming injuries. They might not be physically recovering from an injury, but they're holding space for the athlete while they're overcoming it. And I'm passionate about that space. I was involved with in a personal relationship with somebody in the NFL. And so I understand it also from a personal perspective, how demanding and challenging the lifestyle can be. And I think that the spouses and families of athletes are well resourced, but in a lot of cases underserved. And so I wanted to come in and serve and support that audience or that group.
And why specifically NFL, or do you work all across the sports world?
Yeah, I work across all sports. I would say I know NFL the best. Again, having been in a personal relationship with somebody in the NFL, so there's a little bit more of just like a personal understanding. I grew up in a baseball house, so I have a great understanding of the sport. I think it's helpful to understand the sport. Like I love to use the analogy when I'm talking to people about relationships and stuff like that, especially when I'm talking to men. I'm like, hey, how does it feel when your team is on like 3rd and 1? And they can't convert and they can't get that first down. And they're like, oh man, it sucks. I hate that feeling. It's so disappointing. It's such a letdown. And I'm like, yeah, that's how your girlfriend feels every time you make plans and then bail on them.
Right.
Right. So being able to use some of those
Other
sports
side.
analogies is helpful. But yeah, I work with athletes and their families across all sports. I have a personal, love and affinity for football and baseball, but I get it. I've been around the sports world for quite a while, so I'm open to all sports, all leagues.
And I think that's why you and I got along so well, because I come from an MLB background too, but football is my passion now too. So the
Yeah,
second I
absolutely.
like Laura.
The feeling was very mutual.
So funny. Well, tell me about your latest program. You had talked a couple weeks ago. You were super excited to launch it, and I just wanted to get it out there. So it's called Figure It the F Out.
Yes, it is. So it's the journal that's right here behind me. And it's the framework of the journal is the framework that I use with all of my clients. So it helps you get really clear on what's going on in the moment for you, whatever the situation is. Again, could be professional, personal, whatever you name it. And the journal is really meant to support clarity and then taking that clarity to strategy and then implementation. Because what a lot of journals do is like write down things you're grateful for or like help get clear on the problem, which is great, but then what? And so this journal really does support the then what part of it, where you go, okay, well, this is what I'm challenged by, or this is what I'm dealing with. How can I possibly solve that problem? How can I align the things I'm doing with getting me closer to where I want to go, right? How can I be productive rather than just busy? And so the journal is sort of like a DIY version of coaching and has some of my favorite resources that I've amassed over 15 years in this industry, resources, exercises, tools, and I love it. I think it's a great sort of toe dip into the world of coaching and up leveling in whatever area you're ready to up level in.
And how much does it help that you're actually journaling and you're actually writing stuff down? Because I know personally I'm a visual person, so I like to see writing. I like to see something, and then I almost like a vision board. You know what I mean? Like, how does that help? Oh, no, Canoli loves it. Sorry.
No problem. It helps in so many ways, right? So part of it is, and I've noticed this with a lot of high performers, I know it with myself, when the wheels are turning up here, it's like you can't get out of it. You can't get off the hamster wheel. So journaling in some cases is your opportunity to just brain dump and get it out of your head and onto paper. And then you can go back and look at it and sort of sort it out and figure out what to do next. People who are visual, I love the type A's who love the checklists and I'm just going to check things off and that sense of accomplishment. Journaling also helps with that. I think it's also great because it's a really cool way to reflect back and see how far you've come and to see the things you have accomplished and in some cases, maybe how far you haven't come. And when you realize how this is what I wanted and I didn't quite get there, it's a data point, right? Opportunity to go, maybe I need more support in that area. Maybe I need a different approach in that area. So having it written down is an accountability tool, right? When it's in pen on paper, you can't deny that you said it or wanted it or thought it. And it helps you kind of look back on it and be like, oh, wow, I've done way more than I realized, or I missed the mark and I need to make some adjustments.
Absolutely. I remember looking at my vision board 10 years later and I was like, oh my gosh, I got most of this done. Who would have thought? It actually came as a shock to me. So I loved journaling. I loved this concept when you brought it to me and definitely wanted to talk about it. So Laura, where can our audience find you?
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, honestly. So you can find me under Laura Barnes on LinkedIn. I'm also available on email, laura@leadershipbeyondsport.com. Website is leadershipbeyondsport.com as well. And so that's where you find me. I mean, my whole focus is helping people figure it the F out. So if there's something that you're challenged by, not quite sure about, don't quite know how to dissect and fit and strategize on, like I would love to support anyone in your audience for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, there have been a ton of injuries this season in the NFL, and here to talk all about the latest ones is Brian Scott from the Injured List podcast.
It's time to get your latest NFL injury updates with Brian from the Injured List podcast. The doctor is in.
Hey, Brian. You there?
I thought I was. I can hear you.
I can hear you. All right. Well, let's go with it. Mike
Oh,
Evans.
this is terrible. Maybe I should exit and come back in.
I'm fine with just audio.
Okay, I don't know what happened. I've just been waiting here. I'll put my little guy up. How's that? You can see my
There we
little guy
go.
there.
Let's
There.
do that. Let's talk about Mike Evans. He just returned. He had a 3-game absence, and now he's hurt again with that broken clavicle. Just when can we expect him back this season?
It's gonna be a long shot. You're looking at probably 6 to 8 weeks minimum. It sounds like he's having surgery to fix it. Whether he does or doesn't, it doesn't necessarily change the timeline per se. It's still going to take about that long for that clavicle to heal. So it must be displaced enough that they're decided on surgical fixation, but that doesn't necessarily speed up the healing process. It really just kind of more or less guarantees that he'll heal
Right.
because you're using a construct that's, more secure than just trying to rely on the body naturally to do it. So it doesn't necessarily, unfortunately, speed things up.
Ugh. And then also Fred Warner out with the injury a couple weeks ago. A huge part of the defense in San Francisco. What can we expect him to see him? I think he's out for the season, right?
Again, that's going to be a long shot there. He had a fracture dislocation of the ankle. From what I understand, he may have already had surgery. Yeah, and they, originally they were saying season ending. Then some reports were saying possibly 3 to 4 months, but that's cutting it close. And, even with that timetable, that doesn't really account so much for a lot of the rehab he's going to have to undergo and, how quickly he'll be able to advance through that. There's also a lot of unknowns until you get into surgery and actually are able to examine the ankle. And so that could have changed since he's had that procedure done. A lot of those reports were coming out prior to the surgery. So we don't really know much more at this point. But again, another long shot there.
What are some of the other injuries that you wanted to spotlight?
Deb, it wasn't so much the injuries themselves as much as it was the sheer amount of them that we're seeing. And not just the sheer amount, but to the high-profile players who...
My fantasy is a mess. I have to say, between the injuries and the bye weeks, I was like, I don't have anybody. I have no players. I might as well just give up.
And that's what I was about to say. Not only the high-profile players, but fantasy relevant as well. I mean, you look at the quarterback position alone. You've got Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, Bryce Young, Jaden Daniels, just to name a few. Who else? Will Levis was out before the season even began. I mean, you just go down the list, right? We got some reports already this week that we know a couple of guys are going to be out who people have been expecting or hoping will come back this week. I won't get into too much detail. I'll leave that a little teaser out there. But we've already got some quarterbacks that they've said they're not going to be ready for week 8. So, and then you go down to the skill position players like the wide receiver core. I mean, absolute decimation, especially if you're a San Francisco fan. They've just been hit with injury after injury after injury. The fact that they've actually got a winning record is quite remarkable, what they've been able to do. And let's keep in mind that... Yeah, and he's the healthiest guy on the team. And let's keep in mind that they're playing with a backup quarterback who's been injured as well and playing through injuries. So it's been pretty remarkable what's been going on this year.
Brock Purdy has the turf toe.
Exactly. And there was an article in Forbes earlier this month that was looking and suggesting that there may be an uptick in injuries to key players this season. And while statistically it hasn't really proven anything as of yet, that may change as the season progresses. There are some things that, are set off alarm bells. And these are things that have historically popped up in the past. Concussions, changing the kickoff seems to have helped that. field surfaces, length of schedule being different than years past. But one thing that was mentioned, and I actually appreciate the fact that they mentioned this, was the fact that a lot of these athletes earlier in their careers have really specialized in one sport and one sport only, and that's football. And what that does, we've seen this across all youth sports within the last decade or so. What that does is it really sets up a recipe for overuse injuries in younger athletes. And what ends up happening is, you get a guy like Malik Neighbors, first, second year in the league, Odell Beckham Jr., first, second year in the league, who are having major season-ending injuries so early stages in their professional career. And some of it may go back to the fact that they're not really performing at a high level in multiple sports, doing a lot of cross training, engaging in enough rest and downtime during the season or during the year. These guys are playing flag football, tackle football, indoor football, arena football, and they're just hitting the gym and doing the same exercises and the same activities over and over again throughout the year with very little downtime. And this is what you see later on in the career. They have these major, significant soft tissue injuries, things that probably could have been prevented, or maybe they would have had a lower risk of having had they taken some time off from the sport, maybe looked at playing a different sport to help, with their conditioning and overall health. So it's something we've gotten away from in youth athletics. It's become a problem over the years. It's been a highlight early in my career that we started noticing these things happening. And I think that if anything came out of that article, I hope it raises some awareness about that, because I think that actually may contribute more than the playing surface and all the other things mentioned. So that's really the only thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, we could go through. I have such a long list, Deb. I don't think we even have time.
We don't have time. We don't have time at this point.
It's crazy.
It's just
and
too long.
Every day I'm adding 2 or 3 players, but the problem is the guys that are already on the list aren't even coming back yet. Right. So the list just exponentially grows day by day, week by week. And it's actually been probably my busiest season thus far in the 5 years I've had my podcast. I mean, I've been asked to go on multiple shows. I try to keep it to two a week. You're the third, and I of course would do it for you in a heartbeat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on.
I love what you got going on with the Blonde Blitz. We love to support each other. And Deb and I have attended the combine. I hope we can do it again next year.
I absolutely will be there
and do some stuff from there. So I would never say no to you. But Deb, we could be here all night. If I just go through this list.
I agree with you. All right. Let's have you on next month too, because I'm sure the list will be even longer at that point, which is unfortunate. But I would love to have you on next month, and we'll talk more.
Yeah, and I recommend their listeners, if they need advice, if they need help with their fantasy roster, if you want to know what to do to manage your roster, or you're not sure, I've been dropping a podcast on Tuesday mornings this year. And it seems to be gaining some traction. I hope it does. It's where I basically summarize the weekend's injuries and activities and kind of give like an early preview, kind of an early synopsis, an early evaluation of what I think is to come later in the week. So if you want to get the jump on your opponents and you have players that are injured, check it out at the podcast, the Injured List podcast. It's on all the major podcast platforms. You can listen to that episode. It's a short, sweet 15-minute one usually, and it just gives some extra information and some things to look forward to and pay attention to as the week progresses with guys that are injured coming off the weekend.
I will definitely listen because, like I said, my fantasy team, I'm just gonna lose at this point. I was so frustrated.
Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same boat.
All right, Ryan, we'll see you soon.
All right, take care.
Right.
It's time to get your latest NFL injury updates with Brian from the Injured List podcast. The doctor is in.
All right, guys, let's get into the game, shall we? Sports betting expert Alex White, she's off tonight. She couldn't make it. She wasn't feeling well. Alex, please feel better. But we do have Ballers Meg here with her fantasy advice for Week 8.
When I'm looking for fantasy advice, I listen to Meg from TSS Fantasy.
Hi guys, Ballers Meg coming at you with the fantasy football section of the Blonde Blitz podcast this week, and I have got some recommendations for people you should be looking to pick up wherever you possibly can. Starting off over at the Browns, who have got a matchup against the Patriots this week, and I would be taking up Quinshon Judkins wherever I possibly can. The man is a machine. If you watched him last week, you will have seen him at the Dolphins absolutely tearing it up and putting points on the board left and right. I'm hopeful that he's going to continue that this week. It's not as easy of a matchup, but I do think that he can run all over that Patriots defense and get some real decent points. So Quinshon Judkins is my pick one of the week. Next up, a little bit of a homer pick for me is Drake London. We have got the Dolphins this week. We have seen how bad the Dolphins are. We've seen how good Drake London is. I am so excited to see what he can do this week against that Dolphins team who are really struggling. Finally, we've got DeAndre Swift at the Chicago Bears. They're facing off the Ravens this week. The Ravens, as we know, are not on top form, but DeAndre Swift absolutely is. He was phenomenal last week. I cannot wait to see what he can do this week, and I think he's going to be getting us all the points that we need to make sure we are securing those fantasy wins. If you would like some more hints, tips, tricks and advice for all things fantasy football, please make sure that you follow me across all social medias at Ballers_Meg, and also check out our TSS Fantasy Show, which is on a Sunday morning wake-up time before the games start. We talk you through all the last-minute hints and advice that you could possibly need. As well as that, you can check out the Meg Zone, which is our section on TSS Fantasy on a Friday evening as well. And I will see you next week for more hints and advice on fantasy football, guys.
I thank you so much, Meg. Next, Intuitive Reader 333 asks Carrie is using her Power Deck cards to predict the Texans versus Seahawks game this week. Carrie, what do you got for us?
Let's see what the Power Deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
.333 Ask Carrie here, ready to give you predictions for Week 8 game, Dallas Cowboys versus the Denver Broncos. And I will be using my Power Deck. So astrologically speaking, there are so many different transits going on, but let me give you the top 3. We have the new moon in Libra, which is a planet of harmony, definitely relationship building or fine-tuning relationships, along with boundary setting and better communicating through expression. And then we have the Scorpio season coming upon us, and Scorpio is like the planet of death, rebirth, transitioning, transformations happening. And no doubt there are going to be some situations that are kind of going to play out like the Matrix. So in other words, you know, in this particular setting with football, it'll probably be like out of nowhere, the team just shows up and starts really performing. So that kind of had a little theme last week for the Denver Broncos against the Giants, right? They didn't even show up until fourth quarter, you know, and came back to actually win the game by 1 point. Amazing. But will they be able to do that again? They do have home field advantage, but let's just see. And then we have Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion, which is definitely going to give both teams kind of an advantage given their signs that I've seen, but especially for Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott notably has Jupiter in the sign of Libra. And so that, you know, Dak is definitely going to be able to show his strength in leadership. He definitely is going to be having a very strong game, however, himself. But will his teammates be able to really show up? We have CeeDee Lamb, who is an Aries, and so his energy is very frenetic right now because we just had that full moon in Aries. So he is definitely a power player for this particular game. Is he going to be able to, you know, outsmart, outwit, outscore the Broncos? I'm not sure, because that home field advantage is really kicking the Cowboys' butt this particular week, I think. Scorpio season, I feel Rob Walton, owner of the Broncos, is going to go behind the scenes and use his negotiating style and presence to kind of tweak some things in the background. We may not get to see that this particular game, but be on the lookout for it in the upcoming few games, okay? And then Bo Nix, quarterback, Pisces. He's a Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. Yes, it's very ethereal, but it just came out of a lunar eclipse, and lunar eclipses release energy. Guess what? I was like, why is it that he is having such a powerful season? Like, he is just on fire with wins. And just so happens that I looked up, you know, his personal trends or what's going on. And it turns out that he made an announcement with his wife Izzy that they're pregnant. And so congratulations, Bo Nix. And not surprising, because again, the energy is very strong for him, because Saturn, the planet of responsibility, is in Pisces. And that's going to be happening until February, and that's probably about the time that they're due. So no doubt that he's going to be able to charge through, and it's a very interesting, anxiety-ridden time for him, but he's using that energy to really charge forth with the wins. So what are the scores going to be? How are they going to really play? Again, using the power deck, let's go with Seattle first. Unfortunately, they get the 5 of diamonds, which is kind of like a career upset. I think Dak, even though he has some good qualities and running potential, I just feel like that's not going to amp up for you. They are going to have some key plays being made with the 9 of diamonds, but overall they get the 8 of spades, which is kind of like they're going to have to walk away and kind of have a little bit of a decline in their performance. In regards to the Denver Broncos, we have the ace of spades. So they had a clincher win last game. That's in the recent past. And then we have the 2 of hearts. They're on home field, so they're the most appreciated and loved. And then we have the 4 of diamonds, which means that even though they played well, they got the win, or they might get the win here, it looks like that they will start building up more energy and keeping up the momentum of that particular game. So that's what we have. And I feel like the final score being 21 Cowboys, 27 Broncos. Good luck, guys. Have a great week.
Let's see what the Power Deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
Thanks, Gary, so much. Don't think I did not see that Brandon Graham number 55 jersey that you're wearing. All right, guys. Ben Troupe, former tight end for the Buccaneers and the Titans, is here to help me with Week 8 game picks. Ben, where you at?
Bring in Deb and Troupe so we can get our NFL picks.
Hey, Ben, you there?
I'm here. I'm looking right at you.
There he is. All right. We got him. Thank you for sticking around. I know you have your show in 5 minutes. No weddings in the fall. We will make this quick, I promise. Let's start off with Vikings versus Chargers Thursday Night Football. Who you got and why?
As much as I want to pick the Chargers, I keep saying this. Justin Herbert and company, good team, not a great team. I just think this Minnesota team, because of the game Carson Wentz didn't have against his former team, I think he bounces back. Good game, but I'm gonna go with the Purple People Eaters over the Chargers.
All right, I'm actually gonna go Chargers. I don't know why, because they're actually not playing that well. But Vikings are 8-7 against the Chargers. Their last matchup was September 24th, 2023. That was the Chargers winning 28-24, but that wasn't under Harbaugh. The last time they played, Keenan Allen had a career day with 18 receptions for 215 yards, the only 200-yard game of his career, which is crazy. LA's 2-point favorite. I'm going to go Chargers on this one, even though I liked what Carson Wentz did last week, but I think the Chargers are going to take it. All right, let's do Eagles versus Giants really quickly. Sunday, 1 p.m. What you got and why?
The last time the Eagles played the Giants, it really didn't go their way. This is the get back. This is like what Scatterboo is doing, like what Jackson Dart is doing. Yep. Love the fact that these 2 young rookies are the reason they are becoming must-see TV. But the Eagles are like, dude, either the Eagles are gonna get some get back saying that was that was really a fluke the first time they played, or the Eagles is coming in with a lot of confidence. The Eagles defense gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter. 30. I don't think that's going to ever happen again there. But I got the Eagles bouncing back in a big way. And hopefully, the real Saquon Barkley will finally stand up in 2025. Yes. Don't know what's been going on with him this year. Still the same player, not the same production. I think Saquon has a breakout game, or at least they're going to try to call a game for him to have a breakout game.
I agree with you on that one. I think this is going to be Barkley's breakout game. I think the Eagles are embarrassed that the Giants, clobbered them when they played them 2 weeks ago. I still don't love the fact that they just played them, but it is what it is. That game cannot be repeated. The Eagles are wearing Kelly Green. Super excited to see that. And I'm super excited that Brandon Graham is back. I think it's going to make a huge difference in the locker room. Eagles are favored by 7.5. I'm going Birds on this one for sure. Green Bay or Pittsburgh or Commanders KC? What do you want to do?
Oh, Green Bay, Pittsburgh all day long.
I feel like since Jaden Daniels is out, why even talk about Kansas City is really going to just beat them. All right, let's do Green Bay versus Pittsburgh Sunday at 4 p.m. What you got and why?
I know that Michael Parsons. I know that Michael Parsons want to be able to add, an AA-Ron, Aaron Rodgers to his sack list. And if you are this Pittsburgh DBs in particular, Jalen Ramsey, I'm saying Jordan Porter Jr. I mean, I get it. You guys do not have your best, game against, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but y'all got to be chomping at the bit to get back out there, right? You guys are supposed to be the strength. I know T.J. Watt is going to remind the world he's still one of the best players of pass rushers in the league. But if you are Mike Tomlin, can you stop a really, really good run game and a really, really good passing game for Jordan Love? Jordan Love didn't have his best game last week, even though they won. I want to see the chess match. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Michael Parsons, T.J. Watt. You talk about Quay Walker, you talk about Jalen Ramsey, you talk about Jordan Porter. You got stars all over the place. Mm-hmm. But I like Green Bay though for this reason. Aaron Rodgers, right, is 41, 42 years old. I'm not saying that's old. I'm saying that's old in the NFL. The thing about him is this. He plays really, really well when him and DK got something going on. But last week, it was all tight ends, right? John Smith, Pat Frymuth, Darnell Washington had a touchdown last week. I don't see that being the case this week. Give me Green Bay against Pittsburgh, even though I think it's going to be a good one.
I think it's going to be a great game. Packers are 4-1. Steelers are 4-2. This is going to be in Pittsburgh. Ben, it's kind of like your ex situation last week with the Eagles and Carson Wentz. And also too, Jordan Love was under Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, so he learned so much. So we'll see. Currently, Packers hold the all-time record the season series lead, 19-17, and the Packers are 2.5-point favorites on this one. I'm going to go with the Packers as well. I do think it's going to be a great game, though. So, all right, guys. Ben, thank you so much. Make sure, everyone, you stick around for Ben coming up right now. Today's Blonde Blitz is sponsored by Wish LBI and Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code BLONDE, and we'll double your deposit for up to $100. If you like today's show, please subscribe, and you can follow us also on all socials at The Blonde Blitz. All right, guys, football forever. See you next week, and go Birds.